around. Shelton on the three-point line. 2 seconds. One gets off the shot, and it's good. Oh, my. And I guess that tells you all you need to know about this first quarter.
Hooks comes up with it, gets it to Myers down the court, and he's got a wide-open dunk, and he throws it down. Myers with a right-hand jam makes it 24-10.
Lorain gives it off to Holzhauer, fires it out front, Cowley with a three. Good, and a foul to go with it. How about that?
And good morning and welcome to another edition of the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe here in the Chronicle Telegram Rob Polinsky Emeritus Studios.
Wow.
Here at the CT this morning. And of course, the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show brought to you by our friends over at Nick Abraham Buick GMC, Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, located at 57 and Broad Street. LMRE, your Touchstone Energy Corporation. Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company, and Lorain County Community College, high-quality education for good jobs. Michael, thanks for stopping in here this morning, kind of a last-minute notice. I think I guilted you into that, maybe hazed Tuesday night over at Columbia and said, I really need some help this week, and you said, well, no, but yeah, and I'll go ahead and do it anyways. And you and I are going to spend a lot of time together today. I'm apologize for that up front, but I think we're going to actually really do well here in this format. It'll be in the later stages of the afternoon that we'll struggle when we go over to North Ridgeville later on for girls basketball. The super matinee, as it were, over at Ridgeville, 12:30 this afternoon. Michael Keefe and I will be over there as, the Ridgeville Lady Rangers 9-2, welcoming in the Shore Gals of Avon Lake. That'll be on WEOL.com this afternoon. And, of course, the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. That's a premier matchup in the SWC in terms of girls basketball. More to come on that matchup as the show goes along this morning. But right now, I want to talk about a busy night last night throughout the area, Lorain, Medina counties, and some girls basketball that we're going to get into later on today. But, Michael, get us started, if you would, with the Lorain County League, because there were some exciting matchups last night.
Yeah, big matchups, and we're going to hear from several of these winning coaches. But Wellington gets a big win, 15-point victory over Oberlin, 59-44. The Wellington Dukes get the victory there. How about Brookside? Brookside and Keystone, the two teams that shared the conference title last year. Their only conference losses last year were to each other, and Brookside throws the first punch as they beat Keystone in overtime, 59-56. We'll talk to Larry Babbicks about that one coming up. We'll jump down to Black River over Columbia. We had Columbia. They looked dominant earlier this week, but how about the Black River Pirates? We talked about them. They, coming off of blowing a 15-point lead against Oberlin, Black River bounces back, and they dominate Columbia 60-44 in that game last night. And then very excited for this coach, and he'll be our first coach coming on with us this morning. But we're going to talk to Coach Bobby Gossam, first-year man at the helm of the Clearview Clippers, as Clearview finally gets their first win of the season, 46-45, a buzzer beater for Clearview, as they take down Firelands last night. And, man, I'm so excited to hear from Coach Gossam. And it's a lot of hard work that these kids have put in so far to get to this point of the season. So to get that win's got to feel great.
Yeah, great job out of those guys. Looking forward to hooking up with him in just a few minutes here. He's pretty excited as well, getting that one in dramatic fashion. I'm sure he's going to share that with us. Come up in about 5 minutes here. In the SWC last night, it was the Avon Eagles in a premier matchup against Amherst, emerging victorious 76-65. Mike Fitch coming up in hour number 2. Elyria gets back on track with a dominating win over Midview, 75-45. Brett Lyric coming up in hour number 2 as well. And Berea Mid-Park gets the better of Olmsted Falls in a big-time rivalry matchup, 79-75. Elsewhere in North Coast League, it was Padua with a buzzer beater over Elyria Catholic, 73-71 three-pointer as time expired to knock down the Panthers in that one. Also facing the buzzer beater was Vermilion. They were on the short end of that one over at Huron, 53-50. The Huron Tigers take care of Vermilion 53-50 in a buzzer beater as well. One other score to mention, it was in boys basketball. Andrews Osborne gets the better of Open Door, 66-51. Tough sledding for Alan Januzzi and his club, even as we've turned over the calendar into 2026. Michael, a big-time slate over in Medina County. How appropriate that you are here to read those scores.
Hey, how appropriate indeed. But down in Medina County, some big games that happened last night, and for the most part, some good outcomes for Medina County teams, as the Brunswick Blue Devils, a phenomenal basketball squad down there. They took down Menor 77-56, just a dominant performance by the Blue Devils against the Menor Cardinals. The Buckeye Bucks dominate Valley Forge 53-33 last night. The Highland Hornets, we know they're big-time rivals in football, at least they were until next year. But Highland and Aurora played a good game. Highland comes out victorious 59-52. And then the one team that came up a little short in Medina County last night was Wadsworth. There's a really good North Royalton team that they went up against, and North Royalton got the best of Wadsworth, 72-44.
Girls basketball. Well, actually, we've got a couple of boys basketball games that are going to be taking place today, too. You've got Avon locking up with Lakewood. We'll get Mike Fitch's thoughts on that. And Oberlin at Port Clinton later on this evening as well today. One other note, it was postponed. It was Ridgeville and Avon Lake. That game, don't have details on it, but they did not play that one last night. Girls basketball slate this afternoon. We've already talked about our game. We'll preview it more as the show goes along, but it is Vermilion at Edison coming up this afternoon. Lorain at Medina in GCC play. Lorain County League games all over the place. It's Clearview at Brookside, Columbia at Wellington, Black River at Keystone, and Firelands over at Oberlin, all set to take place around 1:30 this afternoon. Michael, there are some games in the Southwestern Conference as well, as we have Amherst and Avon, and you can take that away and preview our game as well in the SWC.
Yeah, very excited for that. Again, Amherst and Avon, the boys played a phenomenal game last night. The girls set to do the same today. And again, the boys supposed to play last night, but you said it, and we will talk to both coaches to preview this game, and then you and I are going to leave our studios here and head right over to North Ridgeville, but a premier girls matchup. I'm so excited for this one, Jared, because in the Southwest Conference, you've got Avon Lake, and we know what Avon Lake has done. We know the tournament run they went on last year. And really, when you look at Avon Lake, two of their losses on the season are to highly ranked girls basketball teams. Sure. One from Georgia and one from Washington. They went down and played a tournament down in Disney. 3
games, and they got, like you said, 2 losses there against the who's who.
Yeah, that's right. So between that and you talked a little bit about the start for North Ridgeville and how those girls have gotten kicked off. Amy Esser's squad, we're going to have her on to talk about it, but that's going to be a heavyweight fight at North Ridgeville today. Very excited to bring it to you along with Jared this afternoon.
Looking forward to that. I want to thank Chronicle Telegram reporter Todd Shapiro. He lets us know that North Ridgeville Avon Lake game has been moved to at Avon Lake's facility this evening. So that one's playing tonight. That's a good one. If the NFL doesn't have anything to offer you at home, head out to Avon Lake, check that one out, because that's going to be a good one too. So it's a loaded action in the SWC tonight too.
What are you talking about? The NFL that ended last week. There's no football after.
I'll go Rob Polinsky on you. That ended in 1997.
Yeah, right,
Michael.
Right.
What do you mean the NFL? The Browns don't play anymore.
Yeah,
That's not the same thing. Anyways, so we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of that break, we're going to talk to first-year head coach with the Clearview Clippers, Bobby Gossam, who got his first victory of the season last night. We're excited to catch up with him. We're excited to bring it to you. It's on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. We're streaming live online at WEOL.com and also on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
And welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe, and joining us now on the program, Clearview Clippers first-year head coach, but no stranger to the coaching fraternity. Bobby Gossam joins us. And, Coach, good morning. Great to get acquainted with you a little bit earlier this week when Michael and I had the game over at Columbia. But even better to catch up with you on a Saturday morning after your first win with the program. You did it in dramatic fashion.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, no problem. Coach, listen, you've been, we chronicled it a bit on the broadcast. You're a first-year guy at Clearview, but you've been around the coaching ranks for a long time at a lot of different levels, at many different programs, a little bit out west, a little bit from here, but first year at Clearview, and it's a program that that needs a little bit of that direction. And listen, you've done it for a long time. You've been a part of good teams. You've been a part of not so good teams and everything in between. Just talk about going to sleep last night. After earning that victory and knowing that you finally get that one in that win column.
Oh, it was great, and I'm so happy for the kids. They've been working so hard to get to this point. And, we talked about it. We've had a lot of games that have been 1 or 2 possession games,
Sure.
And it just hasn't gone our way. And I told them, you just keep getting after it. And, we faced some adversity. And the kids just kept working. And, I think that last night was a testament to the hard work they've been putting in. And the ball finally bounced our way. The play at the end there, that if that would have been the beginning of the year, that probably would have went the other way. So, I told him, I said, there's only so many times that it doesn't go our way until it does go our way. So, I'm just, like I said, I'm just so happy for them.
Bobby, we saw you over at Tuesday at Columbia, and they got on you guys pretty early. They were pretty physical, and once your guys had a chance to respond, they kind of tightened it up in the third quarter, and they were able to rise to that occasion from a physicality standpoint. Knowing what we know about Colin Myers and Firelands, that's a tough and tumble team, and I'm sure they wanted to get rough with you guys, but somehow you were able to weather that. Once Fortney gets going, it's really tough. He's a load inside, and those other guys feed off of him, so you had to have some sort of success down low.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it, like Deacon Delgado, our biggest player and probably our best scorer, he was out of the game. He had some health issues, and so he wasn't playing, and we just found that out on Thursday, the day before. Wow. And so it was one of those things that we just said next man up, and we've been through this. We've had some injuries, and we've had some kids that, we're trying to build a culture here, and we're trying to change some things. And so, we've had our ups and downs, but, we talked about it, he's a great player, and there's some good players around him. And so it's one of those things as a coach, do you let him get his and try stopping everybody else, or do you try shutting him down and let everybody else get theirs? And so we just, we knew we were going to be undersized, and we just told him, just keep battling in there. And, it's tough going in there and rebounded, and Montez did a heck of a job just battling and getting after it. And, I think that we finally showed some toughness last night.
Coach, Jared's referred to a couple times the fact that we saw you this week, and, we see what we see coming in. We know a little bit about the program, and then obviously people like you, so gracious, you take your time, you send us the stats, we see what's going on with the scores and all that. We can look on paper at your team and get a little bit of an idea, but you're always looking when you're doing our job for the things that don't show up on paper, for the guys that don't show up on paper. And I will tell you, we Deacon Delgado shows up on paper. The Chapman boys show up on paper. But I'll tell you, we left that game against Columbia talking a lot about your young man Houston, and talking a lot about this kid Montez Sanchez Miller. And so when I read from last night's game that the game winner was hit by Montez Sanchez Miller, who I think was an incredible spark for you guys earlier this week when I saw you, just talk about maybe what some of those guys bring to the table and how cool it was to see Montez hit that shot.
Yeah, and I think that we really played well together as a team last night. That was the difference. And, Montez was just, he's in there battling and he's frustrated. And, I had to get him out at one point just to calm him down and, get his head back in it. But he's always a competitor. I mean, he always goes out there. He brings us some toughness. Nasir Houston, he's been up and down this year, but I think he's been more consistent lately. He's just so quick and athletic, and defensively, he'll go out and lock anybody down. And then, Demir Mosley too, sophomore, who, we've had him some games, we haven't had him some games, and, he stepped up. And, the play at the end, you got Zon Chapman, who, makes a great play, that could have been an over and back, and he understood enough to not touch it until Firelands did. And then, again, it just bounced our way, and he gets it to Demir, and Demir gets it down to Montez, who's in the right spot at the right time. And I mean, again, those guys all stepped up, and I think that they understood with Deacon out that everybody else had to take on a bigger role, and everybody stepped in. And here's the thing on top of it too, we had two other guys out. We had Devin Jackson out, who's one of our starting guards, and then we had Michael O'Neal out with an injury. I mean, we got beat up over the holidays. And so we were shorthanded. We really only had 7 or 8 varsity guys. We dressed 3 JV guys just to kind of round that out. And Jalen Vargas, a freshman, came in who has played very little varsity and gave us some good minutes in the fourth quarter of like crunch time. So I think that everybody, just as we got that momentum, everybody was just, they were excited and they bought in, and we just did what we needed to do. We grinded it out.
So, Coach, moving forward, when you get your first win of the season, obviously later than you wanted it to come, but it's here, and you guys got to celebrate it a little bit. But then what's the message in the locker room from you to the kids as far as just taking this and using the momentum and moving forward into the rest of your schedule?
Well, I told them before the game that we're not a 0-10 team. I mean, we are not a 0-10 team, and they've shown that. We just aren't real consistent at this point, and we weren't real consistent. We hadn't put 4 quarters together. We hadn't put 2 back-to-back games together. And so yesterday was a great win for us, number one. And number two, it showed that, we can do it. And I think they needed that. They need a little bit of confidence. And, we're back in here this morning, getting after it. And I was going to give them the day off, and they didn't want it. They didn't want it. They wanted to be back in here. And that's the great thing about this group. I mean, they're a great group of kids. They love basketball, and they come in and work every day, and they get after it. And so, the message to them was, going forward, let's use this, be excited about it. Celebrate it last night. We're going to celebrate a little more today. And then, we're going to prepare. Now, here's the problem. We come into Tuesday against Brookside, a team who just beat Keystone. So, you in the conference, you can't take a break. Like, you get past one, and Firelands is a great team. You get past one great team, and then you got another one sitting there waiting for you. So, we can't celebrate it too long. We're going to enjoy it today. And then Monday, we got to come back and we got to prep for them. And we already had them once. So, we know a little bit about it, and they're good. They're a really, really good team. Yeah. So we got to be on top of our game. And the thing is, we're not going to have Deacon again. So, we're going to be in the same boat. We just got to keep grinding it out.
Wow, and that was going to be my next question for you, Bobby, was, as you look through the league now that you've got that league win under your belt, your first win, and it happens to come in the league, you can sort of take a look at that and take inventory of where everybody's at. We had Oberlin, a pretty talented Oberlin team who took you to overtime. They took it on the chin last night against a 1-win Wellington team. Black River upends Columbia, a team that you saw and got pretty familiar with on Tuesday. They win that game last night by 16 points. So it's just, it's really strange when you think about the complexity of the Lorain County League in terms of one-win teams that are getting double-digit wins, teams that maybe haven't been that powerhouse historically that have flipped the script this year. Do you maybe tell your guys that, hey, the first half of the season didn't go the way you wanted to, but you can turn this on its ear right now and have a say in kind of where some of these other teams look at where they stack up in the rest of the conference?
Oh, for sure. And I'm from Mansfield, so I wasn't real familiar with LCA. I came up the Sandusky area, and then, I'm over here now. And so, it was an adjustment coming in, not knowing the teams, not knowing the players. But, there's some really good teams in LC8. And I think that anytime you go out there, anything can happen. And high school basketball now is just so up and down. Like you see a team, I was in Margaretta, who's a really good team right now, and they're really consistent. And then, they come out against a really good Colonel Crawford team, and, you just never know. You don't know what's going to happen. And on any given night, you can go out and compete. And I think the biggest thing for us is, we gotta play our game. And I think that up to this point, we didn't know what our identity was. And I think we found that a little bit last night. And now we just have to continue to be consistent with it. And, anytime you get a win, it doesn't matter who it's against. It gives the kids a little bit of confidence. It gets them excited, especially with this group. We don't have a ton of varsity experience coming into this year. Deacon was our main guy. He played at varsity last year. Devin got some minutes. Zahn got some minutes. Nas got some minutes, but it wasn't significant. So we have a lot of guys who they don't know how to win yet. So last night was huge for us. And, it's a confidence builder. And so we just, like you said, we just need to keep building on that.
Well, Coach, we want to wish you luck in your practice this morning, and certainly against a Brookside team that is standing on top of the world on Tuesday. So you got your work cut out for you, but it's a heck of a lot easier to prepare for that one, knowing that you got win number 1 under your belt, and it's a conference win at that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And, again, I want to thank, all the fans, all the supporters, that were here last night. We had a great turnout, and I'm glad that, the kids got this win. I'm glad that they got to celebrate it with their family and friends. And so, it was great. And again, we're going to get back after it today. So, we got a very tough opponent on Tuesday at their place too.
And before we let you go, Coach, I wanted to let you know, I think that you brought up something really great. The Frank and Ann Sally Memorial Gymnasium is a special place when it gets rolling. So in your first year there, embrace that, because it really does mean family when you're there.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Coach Sally was here last night, and I've had Coach Sally in practices. Yeah, and Coach Sally's a great guy, and I've tried to get him in more and more, but he told me he'd love to be here more, but he might be divorced if he comes in too often. So I told him I can't be responsible for that. So but he was in the gym, and he loves seeing that, and it's great that he could be here. He's a huge part of this, and so I'm just happy for everybody in the Clearview community and all the, like I said, all the supporters.
Yeah, you'll never have to ask where he's at on game night.
Yes, definitely.
So it's great to catch up with you, Bobby. Take care, and hey, hopefully this is the first of many Saturday morning conversations we're having with you, because this has been great.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we see you again soon.
You got it.
Thanks, Coach.
Bobby Gossam, first-year head
guys.
coach with the Clearview Clippers, and coming off of a win last night against, again, a really, really tough Firelands team when you think about physicality and Colin Myers and what they've done and some of the battles they've been in. To come in undermanned and be able to make that happen the way he described, that was a team that was really, really inching close to it.
Yeah.
They knocked down the door last night. We're going to bring in Amy Esser with the Lady Rangers program right now over at North Ridgeville, gracious enough to join us.
I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us? Okay.
Oh, no.
We're gonna put you off here and then just try it again and dial it back in.
Here, I'll send her.
Could hear you guys like 2
We'll take a
minutes
little
ago.
break. Yeah, we'll take a little break.
1 sec.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
I think we've reconnected with Coach Yesser. You got us now, Coach? She says no. She heard the commercial, didn't hear us. Just if you can tell her to disconnect and come back in altogether, we'll try it that way.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
I feel that the third time will be the charm here, and we got the thumbs up.
Let's
Coach
go.
Yesser. Again, patient and gracious enough to join us this morning. And speaking of gracious, thanks for having Michael and I out to your place this afternoon. We're looking forward to what should be a great matchup. SWC play girls basketball this afternoon over at the NRAC. And boy, Amy, you guys bring a 9-2 record into that matchup, and pretty special going on over there.
Yeah, actually we're 9-3 now, unfortunately, but that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, things are going really well over here. I got a text message last night at like 10:30 saying, "Coach, can you be here in the morning before the freshman game?" And I was like, "Okay." So we had about the kids. I was setting up shooting machines around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So that's just where our kids at. They want to be in the gym. They want to get, they want to be ready. We got Berea Mid Park upsetting Olmsted Falls last night. So our kids had a little fire under them last night. So they're ready to go today. I said they were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed this morning. So
I want just to clarify, you got a text from the kids that said,
yes,
"Can you be here?"
Yeah. We have a group message, and they were all over me. We want to get in the gym. So I said I got up early, set the shooting machines up, and they've been in here. They just got done shooting. So,
Jared, did you ever ask anybody when you were 15 or 16 or 17 years old to meet you anywhere at 7:30 in the morning?
No, not once. Not that I can think of. Not even at school. I never wanted that to happen either. But Coach, when you think about that, and you prefaced it, we'll get to it later on about that, the Falls Berea Mid Park game, but clearly work to do for you guys today with Avon Lake coming into town, and their record maybe not quite where Paul has it in his head, but I think that when they came back from Florida, there were goals to be set, and obviously they met with Falls earlier this week, and it was kind of one of those games that you expect, low scoring. They kept it that way. That's what they do. They slow it down a little bit on you. How does your style in this year's team contrast with what Avon Lake likes to do defensively?
It's funny because I was talking to our girls, and we were going through our scouting report with them, and the girls can just verbatim go through each kid, what they do. We play them all summer. We play against them in the fall. So we always get together, Paul and I, and we scrimmage all the time. We just have open gyms all the time just to get our girls moving. So our kids know their kids really, really well. Their kids know us. There's nothing new. We're not going to throw anything, maybe out of the ordinary that he's ready for. But I think that prepares us, obviously, going in and knowing that, we compete with them all the time. And, Paul always brings it. His kids always bring it, but we're pretty prepared. So our kids are ready, obviously. I'm a little tired right now. It's going to hit me soon, but we're ready.
Coach, you're reaping the benefits a little bit of experience this year, and just talk about, maybe the difference between coaching the squad last year and this year, because as I sit and look, and I did a few of the North Ridgeville games last year, as I sit and look at the roster and the players who are making plays on a regular basis for you, it's a lot of the names that we talked about last year as well. So just talk about the growth and having that experience and what a difference that's been.
I think it's important to note last year we were very injured. We only finished the season with 12 total players in the program. We had four or five season-ending injuries mid-season, so 2 of those being seniors. And we had a lot of kids on the floor last year that was their first year with varsity basketball experience. I think 8 8 kids with varsity experience last year, and kids we had to throw into the mix because we didn't have anybody else with injuries. And then you had Brooke Schroeder last year coming in. She was a starter her freshman year, tore her ACL her first game of the season. And then last year, it takes, there's a mental toll that it takes and confidence that it takes. And I'm gonna arguably say she's one of the best point guards in the area right now. Like the way she's playing dynamically, leadership, handling the ball, scoring defensively, and just overall what she brings to our team. She has completely stepped up, and you can see the confidence in the way she plays. And then kids like, Reina Balderas, who's been around the program, and she's she's a varsity kid since her freshman year. Kids like that bring experience, they bring composure, they bring competitiveness. And those are the kids that are in the gym in the morning. They're in the gym after practices. And they show our other kids, like, this is what it's going to take. And I would like to say that I'm not pleasantly surprised at how we started this year and what we've been doing, but I'm overly impressed by how our girls from top down to the bottom has stepped up, and their willingness to kind of put it all out there and put in the extra time and the extra work.
Amy Esser, the girls basketball coach at North Ridgeville, the Lady Rangers program, is our guest right now. You referenced, you really like where your guard plays at, and you mentioned Brooke in particular. People that are familiar with your program over the years have seen really talented wings and bigs come through there. Wow, this is great. People that know that you like guard play. Is it more special for you to say, I can get down with this and I can level with this person eye to eye and know that I've been through that? I can explain this sort of material to them and make them a better leader?
Brooke's the type of kid, she actually reminds me of her aunt, who was here my first year coaching, Haley Schroeder, and she plays just like Haley. And she's that type of player, that point guard that we haven't had in a long time. We've had a lot of really good guards, right. Dalen Bakers, Brooke Limes, but those kids are dynamic and play 1, 2, 3. Brooke is a full-on point guard. She does it all, and her knowledge of the game and what she does as far as just putting in the work and understanding, and her basketball IQ is one of the highest I've seen in a long time. And it makes my life a lot easier because as a coach, I tell them, I can't call 20 timeouts a game. You have to be able to fix things on the court. And when she's on the court, I'm not worried because usually the decision is right. She knows how to adjust. She knows what offenses to run if we need to change something up on the fly. She's that kid that can do it for us.
Coach, I'm going to be a little bit of a college homer for a minute. I'm going to use a quote from head coach of my alma mater, Texas A&M University, Mike Elko, the football coach. I think he had a great quote this year when he was talking about his coaching philosophy, and he said his job is to always be opposite.
Right.
When things are bad, his job is to pull them up. When things are great, his job is to keep them focused and bring them back to reality. Things are going pretty darn well. I know it's coming off of a loss. Things are going pretty darn well for the North Ridgeville Rangers. So just what's the messaging been from you for as far as just keeping everything focused and knowing that the biggest goals are still ahead?
It's for us, it's just, you can start hearing the basketballs are coming back in. It's compete and play to win. Sometimes adversity hits and you go to your heels. You try to hold on to a lead or push through, and we're playing to win. And we're playing to compete. We're going to compete every single minute of that game. And our kids know that. Our kids know from start to finish, they're going to give everything that they have. And that's the mentality that we've been preaching and they've bought into. They have literally bought in, and they hold each other accountable. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do as a coach, to say, you drive your culture. It's not me. It's not the coaches. It's you. Your season is what you make of it and what you want. And so what you want and to your teammates to be held accountable to where your goals are, it's driven by them. And we have 7 seniors on this team, one that hasn't even stepped foot on the floor because of an ACL injury. We have 2 junior captains, and Lauren Bohannon, who's had a great season so far, Brooke, and then a couple sophomores and a freshman, and they drive this culture. And I haven't seen a team in the 18 years I've coached, from top down to the bottom, that I can go to the end of the bench and I can throw a kid in and I know that kid's going to compete. And they have the level of basketball knowledge and IQ and talent to do it. So I think from top down, this is the most talented and most dynamic team we've ever had.
Well, Coach, we're looking forward to seeing that talented and quite frankly deep team that we've read about. And, our first chance to get a look at you today, it comes against a great conference opponent in Avon Lake. So it's a pretty special matchup. We're happy to be over there, and we're looking forward to seeing you probably about, 2 hours from right now. We'll be on your doorstep.
Maybe I'll try to take a nap. Not really going to happen, though.
Try to get that in if you can. Exactly. We're a lot easier to deal with.
We start in 20 minutes.
We're looking forward to that. Stay on schedule, and we'll see you shortly.
All right, take care. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Thanks for connecting with us, too. Really was patient as far as getting in there, and that helped out tremendously. And it also gave us a chance to get a couple of commercial breaks in there, so we don't have to take one now. We can transition right now to our next guest lined up here. And it is, you gave him the oh man, I'll give him the oh geez.
Oh geez.
He scolded me via email earlier this week, and Rocco and I had a good joke about that last night. But anyways, the voice of the Cavaliers, Tim Alcorn, joins us. And Tim, thanks for taking some time. It's going to be kind of a special format this morning. You'll find out in a few minutes how it's going to work. But in any event, thanks for taking some time to join Michael and I. Cavaliers in action in the super matinee of your own this afternoon at 1:00 over at the arena. And, taking on Minnesota in that home and home format. You were in Minneapolis the other night, and that was a game that got away from the Cavs in the second half.
Now, before we talk Cavaliers basketball, what's this email that I scalded you on? What is that?
Hey, tell the people.
Hey,
the
Rock Dog said, hey, boy, he really took a shot at you on that one, as I've told Jared before. And we'll talk about that. It had to do with all-star break availability. That's a tease right there for those watching. It had to do with all-star break availability. We're looking at that mid-February card, and we're thinking to ourselves, there could be some flexibility there.
All right. I didn't think I scalded you, but
I didn't think you did either. I said, you got to know that working relationship, if you want to call it that.
A lot of Saturday mornings I've spent with you, and believe me, you've taken worse scaldings than that email
I know.
Saturday morning than via email. But great to be with you guys. And the home and home with Minnesota, and of course, Jared, you referenced Thursday night. That all came down to 12 minutes of basketball in the third quarter that the Cavaliers would rather forget. Just a disastrous third period at the Target Center. Now, give the T-Wolves some credit. They're an outstanding team, and they got firepower. But the Cavs just wilted in that third period. And then, as we've seen so many times this year, that furious fourth quarter comeback and got it down to 4. You could sense that the T-Wolves were reeling a little bit, but Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels hit some big shots and staved it off. So we'll see if the Cavaliers can get a little revenge this afternoon.
Tim, we've talked a lot. We've talked a lot about the Cavs. I'll give a shout out to Garage Beers. I feel myself going into Garage Beers. I feel myself going into Garage Beers mode here for a minute because I'm just
too early for that.
Well, no, not the beers part. But Tim, here's what I want to know. Do you get the sense? Because I think people are frustrated by the way how this season has gone. I think that's fair to say. I think it just is what it is. They're still a winning team, and they're taking some lumps, but they continue to take these lumps against good teams. Do you get the sense when you talk to them, when you see them every night, do you get the sense that they are trying to, are they trying to work through things? Meaning, are they really worried about where they're at this point in the season? Or are they trying to just kind of work through it and figure things out? Or is it more of a scramble of all right, what's going on? We don't know why we're not getting these wins like we did last year.
Well, first of all, a few things there, Mike. And number one, as Kenny says, Kenny Atkinson, and not that I just echo the coach all the time, but I do agree with him here. This year isn't last year. This year is not last year. And I was listening to Amy Esser, and obviously I've heard so many other coaches that, listen, every year is different. Just because you come off a 64-win season and 15-game winning streaks a few times in the year, that doesn't mean it's going to happen again this year. They're all unique. And so the unique part about this year is, the roster instability insofar as injuries and rotations. You referenced Thursday night's game in Minneapolis. 21st different starting lineup in that game on Thursday night against the T-Wolves. So, no, I don't think they're worried. I just think they're trying to work through this, get everybody healthy. They're pretty close now, except for the unfortunate news with Max Strus that is still going to be another month or so. But get everybody healthy, get everybody into the rotation. The core four has only played 9 games together. 9 games. And today is game number 40. So, that's part of it. Do I think they're worried? No. I just think, it's interesting. Before the season, as you referenced, coming off that year last year, everybody was like, the regular season doesn't mean anything. Right. It's all about April and May. Regular season, it just shows it doesn't mean anything. Now you're 40 games into the regular season, and everybody's saying, well, what's going on in the regular season? Well, you can't have it both ways. I still think the Cavaliers, when you get to April and May and hopefully into June, are going to be, in the thick of things as far as that Eastern Conference race is concerned. I think they're going to be near the top. I think they're going to be playing for an Eastern Conference championship. So, again, a lot to unpack there. But, no, there's still a half a season to be played. Championships aren't won in December and January. They're won in April and May, and again, hopefully June if you get to the NBA Finals. So, no, I don't think there's any panic button being pushed, but you've reached the halfway point, and now you got to kind of ramp it up a little bit.
And I think that speaks to the way the Eastern Conference is laid out this year. You lose a game, you could be in the play-in. You win a game, you could be as high as 4th or 5th. And that's a nightly basis that turns over, and nobody's really asserted themselves or pulled away. And you think about the Pistons and what they've done. Well, you had them at home last week, but that was a 4-point game. So it's not as if they're getting blown out in these contests. And as you mentioned, Tim, they're getting healthier every day. And I always kind of thought about it when the struggles or quasi-struggles were there, that 2026 was really what this team looked at and said, when the calendar turns over, we're going to play our best basketball and mostly have the most cohesive unit that we can put out there.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, Jared. And to your point about Detroit, listen, again, this year isn't last year. I thought Detroit might still be a year away, even though they were coming off that turnaround year last year. I don't think that now. I think Detroit is the real deal. Oh, yeah. And if they go out and get a shooter to complement Cade Cunningham and those big guys up front, that's a Detroit team that they could be battling for the Eastern Conference Championship. I think everybody thought Boston was just going to have this awful year without Tatum. Well, Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard and the other guys have said, no, we're more than just Jason Tatum. And that's been a real surprise. So, yeah, to your point, it's a tightly bunched Eastern Conference. This thing will have a lot of fluidity in the second half. But the Cavaliers, to me, roster construction-wise, once everybody's healthy, will have one of the stronger rosters in the Eastern Conference. And the way the schedule plays out right now, it's not an easy schedule, but it's one of the easiest insofar as, the records of the other teams and the winning percentages of the other teams. So, I do think the Cavaliers will have a much stronger second half than they did first half. And if you go into the playoffs on a roll, just look at Indiana last year. If you go into the playoffs on a roll with momentum, this is a Cavalier team that can win on the road. I'd love to have home court advantage in every series. May not happen, but they'll figure this thing out. And I don't have any doubt whatsoever that the Cavaliers will be playing basketball mid to late May.
Tim, I totally agree with you, by the way. I don't think there's reason for panic. I've said it all the way through that if we're not going to care about the regular season last year, then what are we doing this year? But doesn't mean you don't try to diagnose things. And you being around the team all the time, you being in and around the building all the time, I think one thing that I for me, I'm very interested to see how they're approaching it. There's been probably too many times, and I think all of them would tell you this, where they seem to leave the defense in the locker room. Sometimes they leave it on the airplane. Sometimes it doesn't travel with them. There's been a few too many times, I think, where I'm not used to seeing the Cavaliers team as currently constructed give up nearly 50 points in a quarter, and they've done it a couple times this year. So what are you hearing from them just about the defensive intensity, not just here and there, not just as they're trying to make furious fourth quarter comebacks, but as they come out of the locker room or in the second quarter where they've tended to not be as good throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, and I think that is a concern for Kenny Atkinson. Listen, any coach will tell you, whether it's you guys talking to high school coaches, college, I mean, defense will carry you. And it's going to be defense that will win you championships. Last year, the Cavaliers were one of the elite defensive teams in the NBA. They were with OKC at the top of the league insofar as points given up per game and defensive efficiency and contested shots and all of those analytic stats that people look at. But this year, there does seem to be a lack of energy for all 48 minutes at the defensive end. Now, again, I asked Kenny this as far as, when you have injuries and you have different rotations, does it impact offense or defense for the most part? And he was very upfront to say it definitely impacts the defense, because when you're working with somebody consistently, the rotations, who's going to pick up, who's going to help. And a lot of times you'll see guys for the opposition with wide open shots. Well, that means somebody hasn't rotated, and that's just a lack of chemistry out there on the floor. So I do think that'll settle down. Again, the absence of Strus has impacted the defense tremendously. Max is one of those gritty, gutty guys that he'll defend. So that's been felt, and certainly, again, the difference insofar as rotations are concerned, that's had a major impact as well. But no, again, through 41 games, it's been a bumpy road, and I think the defensive end of the floor has seen more of an impact than the offensive end. There's no doubt about that. I mean, totally agree with you on that, Mike.
And before we move on to the next stage of what we're going to do, and a special surprise for you in a matter of speaking, I do want to say that in listening to, post games and things of that nature, I can't get enough of Kenny Atkinson in terms of he's not hiding from it. He's looking at it and saying, hey, we've got these struggles in front of us. We knew it could happen, and we got to roll with the punches here. But he's what you see is what you get, and he's pretty transparent with everybody out there about we're piecing this together, and it's going to get better. And kind of, I agree with what the three of us have basically said, that 2026 is going to be greater than 2025 for this team, and of course the health and the makeup.
This team will be measured by what happens in April and May.
Yes.
Listen, this season will be measured by that. And not that the first 40, counting today, don't mean anything, or the next 40 won't. But the success of this team will be based on postseason basketball. And if you go in with momentum and you go in healthy, this is a team, this is a group that has been battle-tested. They'll be ready for postseason basketball. And, Jared, to your point, Kenny is as above board and as transparent a coach as I've been around, not only in my 7 years as the broadcaster for the Cavs, but all the years before that in covering the Cavs with WEOL and on the countdown shows and being at the game. Transparent, he is upfront. Not only is he that way with the media, give you a little peek behind the curtain, he's that way with the guys in shoot around. He's that way with the guys in practice. He'll let them know what he's thinking. Now, he doesn't alienate players in that way. Players want to be talked to honestly, and they want to be talked to directly. Kenny's also a guy that really has a great relationship with the players. So, yeah, again, there's no coincidence that Kenny got Coach of the Year last year. I mean, he's a quality NBA coach, and he's facing these challenges up front. And I have no doubt that as the Cavs get to postseason basketball time, he'll have this team ready to go for a deep playoff run.
Well, Tim, you mentioned a group and a group that's just not doing a whole lot right now, and a group that we just, can't really depend on, and, maybe relationships that don't work out quite as much as you'd like, and, guys that you don't get along with and quite frankly might not get along with you. And we got a couple of those guys here today. As you can see, our security chief, Tom Evans, has joined us, and he got deputized today, Tim, by your buddy Ron Yance. He dragged him in. Guys, tell Tim what you're up here today.
Security, Chief. Listen, all Evans does is guard the brownies. That's all he does. He guards the brownies so that nobody else can get them, eat them, see them. That's it.
No brownies today at the wrestling meet. There'd be fights here. I guarantee you. There'd be brawls in the stands if I brought the brownies here to this wrestling meet today. So
well,
Tom
yeah,
and I.
if they're Mrs. Evans brownies, there'd be kids that wouldn't make weight either.
Well, Tom and I are at Case Western Reserve University this morning. We've got 3 dual matches today, and I'm calling the play-by-play, and Tom, the wrestling expert Hall of Famer, is my color analyst. So the mat behind us, Case Western will wrestle against Manchester and against Mount Union today, and Tom and I will be here for the call.
That's awesome.
I thought he was going to get
I was talking some Buffalo Bills football the other day with somebody.
Get
They were asking me about Sean McDermott, and I said, Sean McDermott is a wrestler who coaches football, and that's the definition of Tom Evans. He's a wrestling guy. Yeah, he likes this game called football, but he's a wrestling guy. You can't get Tom away from those.
He has that mindset. Actually, he's one of the few wrestlers that in high school beat Ohio State's national champ Mitch Clark. They're both from the state of New York, and I had Mitch in for a clinic, and Mitch says, McDermott beat me in high school.
I'm not surprised by that. I just want him to beat Jacksonville tomorrow.
Circle the wagons, Tim. Circle the wagons.
There you go. No, that's cool. And, for Tom to join you, Ron, that's really special. And certainly, Ron, you're one of the hardest working guys in show business. Every time I see a post, you're out covering something.
That's very debatable.
I've been blessed here at Case Western, Tim. I have 20 years ago, I started out doing basketball for them, men's and women's. And over time and over the development and maturity of my family, I've added some more things. Football, volleyball, softball, soccer, wrestling. So it's nice to do wrestling because a long time ago, I was a wrestler at Midview High School. Not a very good one, but a wrestler nonetheless.
Here's how busy Jans has been. He hasn't had time to shave, for crying out loud. That's how active this guy is right now.
The only thing I understand that Ron Jans wrestled with recently was a hornet's nest at the Jans household, and he lost the match.
Tim and I have been waiting for the right moment to tell that story. And it probably isn't today because we don't have enough time. But just suffice to say, I told Tim a story about my brother and I trying to get rid of a hornet's nest. And he said, "How old were you and Craig when you guys did that?" And I said, "Tim, this was last week." And, but it's a long, sordid, detailed story that will
right up there. Story led us to believe that you guys were about 16.
Right up there with getting thrown off the Amish wagon too last fall too. So
it's the year.
You can't leave Jans alone too long. He's going to hurt himself.
It's the year anniversary of me getting turned over on the Amish ice wagon. Actually, it is. Yeah. Wow. Rotator cuff surgery behind me now. So.
Well, what a difference a year makes. Tommy, if you could run us through a little bit about what's going on the mats locally, not only this week, but last week, huge. We weren't able to connect with you. You were just too doggone busy, but it was a big week in Lorain County wrestling, and it continues to be right now, too. Elyria, great success last night over at Hoban. But just give us your thoughts on what's going on the mats.
Well, last weekend was the Columbia Invitational, and Elyria Catholic, they're back and they're ready to go. 3 champs over there. Mick Burnett coaching the Panthers. They win the team title. The host Raiders finishing 3rd over there. Great finals. They had a couple champs over there, and Columbia sits over there on West River Road. They're the only team in the county with 2 returning state champs. Michael Fry from 2 years ago, and Bodie Gibbs from last year. So they're going to be reckoning with down the year, but down the season. But this weekend started the SWC duels on Thursday night. All the SWC teams open their dual meet season against each other. So there's some action there, and then the Perrysburg Invitational, which is brutal, is this weekend, and Lorain and Elyria Catholic and Clearview are all out there this weekend, and I didn't get a chance to see the results this morning. They got some pretty decent seeds out there, both Lorain and EC, but that's a grinder of a tournament. That's one of the top 5 tournaments in the state of Ohio anymore. And as we know, Scotty Burnett, the former Elyria Catholic wrestler, is the head coach at Perrysburg, and Scotty's built a juggernaut over there at Perrysburg. They're a top 3 team they're nationally ranked, top 3 team in the state, nationally ranked team over there.
Well, that's certainly, again, a lot going on in terms of what you're following. You guys have a busy day today. out there over at Case. And just cool that we could all link up like this. One of the things that I thought would be good about having you guys on in this format like this, and certainly Michael and I will take a step back. We lost really a media brethren of Ron's more than anybody's, but I think you guys had familiarity with Bill Livingston. And I just wanted to maybe, kind of have a roundtable with you guys that, had things to share about him.
Where do you want to go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead and start us out, Ron.
Yeah, I'll start, but Ron certainly knew Bill much better than I did because, of course, Ron's father-in-law is Bert Grafe, who worked with Bill. But I knew Bill, and you talk about a pro's pro. That guy, first of all, he wrote brilliantly. His columns and his articles, the way they were written, they were artistry. They were just tremendous. And Bill was old school, man. That's what I liked about Bill. Not that he was a curmudgeon, but he was just that hard-working reporter guy. You could kind of picture the old school guy with the hat on the head and the pencil and the reporter's notebook. But Bill told you what he thought. That's what I loved about his columns. He was forthright. He was truthful, and he didn't hold anything back. And you miss those days where columnists pretty much told it like it was, and Bill was one of those guys. And but he was also very cordial, very friendly to me. He was aware of the work that we were doing in Lorain County and was very complimentary of that. And Cleveland lost a real iconic member of their sports media with the passing of Bill. But Ron, I'll let you take it from there because, as I said, with your father-in-law being Bert Grafe and your relationship, obviously, with your father-in-law, I'm sure led to a close relationship with Bill.
Thanks, Tim. One of the things that I'll always remember about Bill, and frankly, a lot of the newspaper guys of my era. So I started working in Cleveland in 1987, just about the time Bill came from Philadelphia to Cleveland. And just to be real honest for a moment, a lot of times newspaper guys, especially old-time newspaper guys, didn't like the television guys a whole lot. I mean, we were competitors. Back in those days, newspaper guys weren't doing TV type stuff yet like they are now. And there was definitely this competition and rivalry. But for me, I was always fortunate that guys like Bill Livingston, Bert Grafe, who was not yet my father-in-law and not yet even on the horizon of being my father-in-law, Chuck Heaton, old-time photographers like Paul Tepley and Ronnie Kuntz, they always treated me kindly. And Livingston did too. And Tim mentioned that he was a curmudgeon, and he was. But I always got along great with Bill. And the thing that I loved about Bill, three things. One, I appreciate good writing. I try to be a good writer myself. I appreciate people who put the time in to use words to form a sentence that then creates an image in somebody's mind as they're reading it. And Livingston, I think, was better than anybody in town at doing that. I think Bill was nominated for 2 Pulitzer Prizes for his writing.
He was.
He was very good about that. Second thing that I loved about Bill is a lot of the newspaper guys used to say, including my father-in-law, we're going to take the bat to somebody today, meaning that we're going to be real honest about the performance of a player or a coach or an organization, and they're going to say that in their column or in their article. Now, those guys would not only say it, Bill Livingston would not only say it in his column, he'd take the bat to somebody that deserved it, but then he'd show up at practice or show up at the press conference or show up in the locker room. And it's one thing, and I think that that's changed a little bit in today's media. You can sit behind your computer or on your podcast or other things that are done today, and you can take the bat to somebody, but then never have to face the music. I mean, walk into the locker room and face Myles Garrett after you just said something in a negative light about him in your column, podcast, or on the air. Livingston never was afraid to do that. He'd come to the press conferences after taking the bat to somebody, sit in front of the coaches that he just, said didn't do the right thing in the games. And Bill and a lot of those guys from that era were very good at that. So I always appreciated that.
I was just it was, as a kid growing up in Cleveland, you had the 2 newspapers, the Press and the Plain Dealer. It was really the golden age for me of sports writers. when you look back at that list that you just read off, Tim, as a kid, you couldn't wait to get the paper and read the columns and read the synopsises because there wasn't as much on TV back then. And so much of our information came from the newspapers back then. And for me, as someone now in his 60s, it was a golden age of writing. And and some of the writing today, and not to take a shot, not to take the bat to them, but it pales by comparison the way those guys wrote.
I miss, I was fortunate to have a relationship, a front row seat with a lot of guys like Bill Livingston, my father-in-law, Bert Grave, Hal Lebovitz, Russ Schneider, a lot of these old-time Dick Zunt, of the Plain Dealer, a lot of these old-time writers who...
Danny Coughlin.
And, we are less fortunate today because of the passing of a lot of these guys. They were huge contributors to the Cleveland sports media. I think they did it the old school way, which I think still needs to be done today. And I oftentimes wonder if it is. I'm sounding like an old guy now, but it's true. I last saw Bill a year ago. Bert was in town, and a lot of those old writers had to get together at a restaurant in Westlake for Bert, because Bert lives in Arizona now. He doesn't get to Cleveland a whole lot anymore. And Livy was there, and a lot of those old time guys were there. And it was good to see him. He came out to Lorain County Community College, actually to Elyria Country Club 5 years ago when Jack Nicklaus was back in town for the Jack Nicklaus Invitational that has been named after Nicklaus. We're the only college in the entire country that is allowed to use the name, image, and likeness of the Golden Bear. And Jack was here for the 25th anniversary of that, and Livy came out. I was doing an interview with Jack, and Livy came and sat in on the interview. So he'll be missed. His writing will be missed. But we're all fortunate to have read it over the years, for certain.
Yep. No, well said, guys. And as you guys said, journalism in that day was different. And guys like Bill Livingston, and not to rattle all those names off again, but guys like Bill and we left out Terry Pluto, who I think still today is relatively honest, but he's one of the last as far as just calling people out and being honest about things. So, yeah, it's a bygone era, and it will be missed.
Well, and we're still in good hands to a certain extent locally, and I think every day for that. One of the things that I think New School has taught us is just what we had today. 5 people able to connect over this interface, and this is the new WEOL.com, and we were able to have multiple guests at different locations, getting it taken care of. So you guys can have your old school. I appreciate the old school. Michael and I like this format quite a bit, and it's real easy to connect this way, so we're thankful for what we have at the same time.
Jared, if I could throw out a little promo. If you haven't read the paper yet this morning, if you haven't gotten it physically in your hand, or if you haven't gone online, please do so. And the lead story on the local and state page is one that I wrote about Izzy Geraci. Jared and Michael and Tim, I know that you all know Izzy from her days at North Ridgeville High School. Please read it. She is one of 12 women in the entire country that is on the national flag football team, and she has sights on making the 2028 Olympic flag football team for the United States. Today, right now, as we speak, she's on a plane flying home from Atlanta, Georgia. She was in Atlanta the last couple of days as one of only 4 women in the entire world that Under Armour has under contract to push flag football from a female perspective across the planet. And then Tuesday of this week, in 3 days, she gets back on a plane, flies back down to Tampa, Florida, and participates in the World Club Championships. And then, of course, she starts training camp for the United States national team starting in April. So, Izzy Geraci, a lot of folks will recognize her name from high school basketball and track at North Ridgeville. But she is a tornado of a young woman to be reckoned with on the flag football front across the world.
So, hey, quick story. Everybody knows I'm a huge Bills fan. I was at the Bills-Patriots Sunday night game in Orchard Park earlier this year. Bad loss for the Bills. But at halftime, these women flag football teams come out. And I'm kind of watching, and I hear the PA guy in Orchard Park go, da-da-da-da-da, Izzy Geraci. And I look, I'm like, Izzy Geraci? I know that name. I know that name. And so now I'm just honed in on this flag football game. And sure enough, I'm sitting there in the stands. I Google it on my phone. I'm like, that's Izzy Geraci.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big
It
deal.
was such a cool moment, and I've been following it ever since. So, Ron, I haven't seen it yet this morning. I will read it.
It's tremendous work.
Yeah, I was so fired up that she was performing with that team at halftime at Orchard Park. And what an amazing story that is. So I'll be sure to read it.
Yeah, I said to Julie Wallace this week, who's the managing editor there at the Chronicle, I said, think about this. There are hundreds of thousands of girls and women today across the world who play flag football. It's one of the fastest growing sports. It's going to be in the Olympics for the first time in 2028. And we in Lorain County, specifically from North Ridgeville, have one of the 12 of all those people that have been selected to represent the national team.
And she did score a touchdown in Orchard Park, New York.
Fellas, it's no coincidence Michael and I are headed to North Ridgeville this afternoon for a basketball game. Izzy Geraci was a Miss Basketball in Lorain County a number of years ago, but certainly has her sights set on much larger goals.
It's a great story. Ron, I haven't read it yet, but I will before we tip off at 1 o'clock.
All right. Tim,
Fellas,
bring home a win today.
Yeah, we need that. So thanks for joining us.
Nothing to do with the outcome.
Okie doke, Joseph.
I'm just going to try to keep Tom Evans out of trouble this afternoon here at Case Western Region.
Tall task.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be thinking about brownies the rest of the day.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Well, here's the real question. Did Keith get donuts this morning, Jared?
He did not. We went across the street. It was all good though. It's not the same, but it's all good. I would encourage you guys to stick around. We're gonna take you off the stage. We're gonna take a quick break. Larry Babbix is coming up right after this. His team had a heck of a win last night over Keystone in overtime, 59-56. That was a titanic matchup in the Lorain County League. So I know you guys are busy doing some things, but Larry will be on for about 10 minutes with us and recap that game last night because that was an epic matchup over at Brookside. So we're going to take a time out. We're going to invite Larry on in just a minute after these messages. Guys, thanks for this format. It worked really well. I thought it was great with the whip around, and this is what we can do with the new school stuff. So we'll catch up with you guys later on. Have a great call this afternoon, both of you.
Stuff.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And we welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe, and we're adding to the stage now victorious head coach of the Brookside Cardinals, very patient to join us. Larry, thanks for taking the time, and thanks for the patience during that segment. It was kind of cool the way that we brought in those guys to talk about Bill Livingston memories as well as what's going on current event-wise in our area. But speaking of current events, you guys find yourselves atop the Lorain County League this morning, and it was no easy task last night. Took overtime to do it over against Keystone, 59-56.
Yeah, I mean, we just had some great battles with Keystone. You know, the last 5 years, they've all been, really, really close scoring. Similar teams, different styles, but we always look forward to playing those guys. We have nothing but respect for Keystone and obviously the job that Jeff and his staff do. And, their kids they're just really talented kids, and they play extremely hard. They're kind of cut from, the way Jeff is, and hard-nosed defensive guys, but they also are very talented on the offensive end. So, I give our kids a lot of credit. They executed the game plan pretty well last night. Played free and easy. As we told them before the game, it's a packed gym, and this is what you play for. You can. It's okay to get little butterflies. I've been doing it 30 years. You get a little nervous at the start, but enjoy it, man. It's an hour and a half of probably real time with that many people that are interested in the outcome of a game, and their fans are there to support their guys, and our fans, our student section. It was just a really good Friday night high school basketball game, and again, luckily we were able to pull it out. One more basket basically, and it was a really good test for us. And again, Keystone's one of the better teams in our area, obviously, and we wanted to test ourselves and measure where we would be this year. And, they're kind of the standard. So, what everybody had thought this year. So, again, great matchup. Glad we were fortunate to come out with the win, and, still a lot of season left.
Coach, you hit on it. You have been a head coach in the area for a long time, and you know this league. And so give the people an idea of what you do after a game like that, because I think some coaches will tell you their adrenaline's going and they go home and they sit up and, I don't know, look at the window for a few hours before they can come down from it. Other coaches will tell you they go home and crash. So what did you do after a big overtime win with a packed gym in a matchup between two teams that shared the conference title last night?
Big bowl of ice cream.
No, actually, we took the boys. We went out to B-Dubs and Avon Lake. It's kind of our customary thing to do. After Friday nights, I know me and my coaches usually go and just enjoy the food. I mean, none of us, nothing wrong with drinking, but none of us drink, so we just enjoy the food. I think my biggest shock last night was when I got to B-Dubs and I saw that Indiana-Oregon score. I was like, whoa.
Jeez. Oh, man.
So it was thing. And then you see the scores in our league last night, and it's like, wow, kind of a lot of like upsets, whatever. It's just a crazy night in the LC8. And so the good thing I think for us with having Clearview on Tuesday night is, that's a heck of a win for them, man. That Firelands team, we just played them on Tuesday. They're no joke. They're finally healthy, and the Clearview to be shorthanded and finally, get that win is, really, really good for them. And, I text Bobby a little bit last night and congratulated him because I know he's doing the right things over there. And, it's hard because you're always judged on your record. And, but as a coach and you're trying to put your imprint on any program, you got to do it the right way. And I think he's absolutely doing that. And, we look forward to our matchup on Tuesday, and that's where we're at. We'll be in the gym here in an hour and some film, and you got to move on, let the kids enjoy it. But like we talk, like you get through the first half of the league, you beat everybody, but one slip up and it's crazy. So you can't take anything for granted. And that's what we told them. We either build off this or we start getting big headed or whatever, but I think this group, as I told the papers, like we just have a chip on our shoulders. Again, not against Keystone, not against anybody, but we work really, really hard like everybody does. But I think these kids have been a part of winning now, and I think it's just like everybody kind of dismissed us a little bit that, oh, we lost all our seniors, Marquise transfers out, but like they're a prideful group, man. And again, we talked, there's no seniors, so you worry a little bit about some of the leadership stuff, but these guys hold each other accountable. I mean, we are far from perfect, but I think they're hungry and they know they can be better, and we're going to have to get better because the better teams are always going to get everybody's best shot. I mean, we all know that. All the coaches hear that. Like you're always going to get up for Keystone. Teams get up for Brookside. So we have to be ready night in, night out. But it starts with film prep. It starts with practice habits, sleep habits. All the things we talk. It's a grind, but like you've done the work. You've done the work for 9 months. Like now the stage is here. Just finish the job. That's what we just try to tell them. And but again, couldn't be more proud of our kids and how they stayed in the moment. Never got too riled when Keystone would make their runs at us. And again, it's just a total credit to them last night.
Larry, a week ago, we're having a conversation with you, and Ron and I were delighted with that conversation. You basically told us this week was a season inside of a season, in a matter of speaking, in terms of you were going to find out a lot. The Avon game that didn't go the way you wanted it. I mean, look at what they're doing. I mean, that that they're going to give everybody a hard time. But that game got away from you guys in the second half, and it might have been real easy to say now we've got a tough customer, as you mentioned, in Firelands coming up, for you guys to maybe go the other way and not rise to the occasion. You did exactly the opposite. You took what happened in that Avon loss and then said, well, Monday starts a new week of what we're going to do, and it gets no easier for us in terms of conference play. And you guys check the boxes that were in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I should have started the interview with thanking, Coach Fitch for the annual, I'm gonna keep it clean, butt whooping he gives us every year.
He's coming up next.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll shoot him a text, and but to play Avon, that's why I said, like, Ben over at Ridgeville, Pat at Amherst, I get it, man. And we talked about this. Those guys playing us, well, they're supposed to beat us, right? So I just appreciate the fact that they risk, maybe them not looking so good if we beat them or whatever. But like, to be able to play that team to get us ready for this week is that there's just I mean, it's such good work for us, and puts perspective of what we need to do to reach that level. Because I think, like, it, and again, we're a mid-sized school. I don't want to say we're a small school, but when you have the best kids in your school, on your team. I mean, we have a kid walking in the hallways that probably should be playing basketball, but other than that, we have the best of the best in our school. But like we told him in Sunday's film session, which wasn't pretty, you could just be average because you're the best and no one's here to challenge you, or you can enjoy these 4 years, get everything out of it, push yourselves, push each other. So we had a lot of just man to man, heart to heart talks after that game, which kind of just reset us. And again, they're prideful kids, and Avon took it to us. I mean, that was Avon. We didn't play bad. I mean, I don't think we played bad. We turned the ball over a little too much, but Avon's good. So again, I just got to thank Coach Fitch for just keeping scheduling us, and we love playing them. We just we got to get that game more competitive, but we know what it does for us, just preparing us in our league, preparing us for the tournament. And we'll get one at the end of the month again, going over to Amherst. So again, I can't thank those guys enough for just scheduling us.
Well, first of all, you're telling Coach Fitch now, because we do see him in the background, so he is hearing your appreciation. So don't be too nice, but he's hearing the appreciation. Coach, as a coach, I know tendency is always going to be to talk about us, we, the team, the group, everybody, and that's the way it should be. But you also have to kind of recognize special moments as they happen. And you had two kids last night in Zeke and Mason that scored the team's last 28 points. That really offensively, and again, I know the rest of the team opens them up for shots and gets them good looks and all that, but those two guys really, when push came to shove, kind of put things on their back and took pride in it. You heard it in comments they made after the game, talking about how personal it was for them to get that win over Keystone. But just kind of talk about those two guys and just watching them have that offensive explosion and kind of carry the team offensively through the back part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, those are our two guys we rely on to do the heavy lifting, with the scoring, along with Alex, Era, and Zeke and Mason were super patient last night. Mason didn't even score in the first half, but I thought their defense, sometimes, like, we're a team, like, they play better when they're scoring. But last night, the fact they really weren't scoring, and give Keystone a lot of credit, their game plan and their ability to defend you. Our guys just took their time. They didn't force anything. They expect, when they shoot it, they're super confident. So they hit some really big threes. We worked to get Mason inside. Coach Kelly did a great job last night, getting some sets and some easy touches for those guys. And those kids perform. But I really want to shout out our whole defense. But two kids, like, I heard one of your interviews, or maybe it was Bobby earlier today. Talking about unsung guys, like, Noah Muniz was chasing Colt and Liam around. Colton Casey, same thing. Those guys scored 2 points between them. played a ton of minutes. But I mean, honestly, ask Mason and Liam; they'll tell you they were the MVPs. So guys that don't even get in the scoreboard, just accepting their roles and doing what's best for the team. And again, you guys have seen how good Liam and Colt are, and it's a handful to chase those guys. I don't think either one of them came off the floor in 36 minutes last night.
Right.
So, you need to effort, just different things from different kids in all your games. And I just thought our guys just played their roles, because that's the one thing I would think we talked about earlier, Jared, in previous, doing these things. That the one thing I appreciate with Jeff and Keystone is those kids know their roles over there, and it's hard to get high school kids to sacrifice from not shooting, being a defender, setting screens. And we kind of challenged our guys, like, look, man, there's only one ball, man. Everybody can't be a 20-point scorer, no matter how fast we play or whatever. Some of you guys got to sacrifice, and I think our guys are kind of buying into that a little bit. And again, that's why I want to shout those two, especially just because of their efforts on those two individual players that are outstanding.
Larry, before we let you go, and obviously good luck against Clearview on Tuesday. There's been video circulating. Liam Gorin gets a good look at the end of that one. And just walk us through what might be going through your head, because you guys played pretty good defense on that. I don't think you could be that upset with it. You got a good look. It almost went. I'm sure in real time and in the gymnasium, it was probably closer than even that video shows.
Yeah, I mean, you always talk about end of game situations, end of halves, end of quarters, and we knew, Zeke hit the free throw. We had a timeout. Jeff had just called his last, so I'm like, I don't want to call it another timeout. We just kind of gave a soft 1-2-2. A lot of coaches might want to foul at high school level. You want to try to foul those guys and leave it up to the refs. Was it shooting? And I mean, you guys know Colt, Emery. So you foul Liam, they're going to get the ball into Liam. You foul him, he's going to go make the first one, miss the second one. Who knows where the ball goes? I'm like, if a kid's going to hit a half-court shot or a little bit past on a run with guys in his face, then we'll go into double overtime.
You'll live with that, right?
Yeah, and as good as he is, I mean, that was a good percentage shot, and we just got lucky at the backboard, rimmed around and went out. But we're just not going to put ourselves where we're going to foul and leave it in the ref's hands. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Notre Dame Cal the other night or about a week ago when the coach lost his mind. And I'm like, I'll never do that. Like, not at the high school level. It's just you're leaving yourself open for, putting somebody at a free throw line, then shooting three and beating you. If Liam goes to the free throw line, he's not missing. So, but that was our thought. I mean, again, everybody has different ideas on it, but I'd just rather make a kid make a tough shot. And, if they do, clap your hands, and they either beat you, put you in overtime, whatever. I'm just not a big proponent of fouling when we're up 3. And, I just think bad things can happen. And worst case, I'd rather play another quarter, another, overtime session.
I couldn't believe that was Notre Dame Cal in ACC basketball. I guess that's where I lost it on that one. But Larry, we're up against it. We got Mike Fish to get to in a quick break. But thanks for taking the time this morning. Congratulations. It's a huge win. And obviously, good luck Tuesday. That's going to be a rejuvenated Clipper team waiting for you. So, good luck against them and the rest of the way out.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thanks again for having me.
Our pleasure. Coach. That's Larry Babix with the Cardinals. Find themselves atop of the LC8 this morning. A quick break, then Mike Fitch with the Avon Eagles battling a very tough Amherst opponent last night. They got the better of the matchup. We'll get his thoughts on the other side of the break. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar and Michael Keefe. We are online at WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe. And joining us right now, Mike Fitch of the Avon Eagles. Mike and I work. What's that?
Give me a second.
Okay, we got you. All right, he's gonna dial back in.
Yeah.
He knows the drill.
He's like, he heard Larry say so many nice things about him that he needed to take a little reset.
Right, can happen.
Take a little reset, and then he'll come back in.
We'll give it a shot now, reconnecting with Mike Fitch from Avon. And just want to preface that Mike and I worked feverishly last night to get this interview set up. I mean, we worked until the wee hours of the night trying to come up with a time that would be suitable, that we can get him on and make everything happen the way it has to. Hopefully Mike can hear us now that we're reconnected. Yep. I was just telling everybody that you and I had to work up till 1:30 in the morning last night to coordinate this interview, because it seems like every week we find ourselves in that position where we just can't agree on a time.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. It takes a lot of time, right?
It does. Speaking of time, you guys had a decent time with Amherst last night as you were able to come away with a nice victory, about 10 points, 11 points in a tough SWC matchup. Amherst is really, really good. So what does that make you?
Well, I mean, that's first off, that's such a hard place to play at Amherst. Crowds packed. Your parents are right on. Your student section's right there. It's a great atmosphere. And what Pat does with that team, they play so hard. We had to challenge our kids to match their intensity, and we always say this year, give an elite effort. I don't know what that says about us. It says that we were prepared and we executed. We had some kids step up, and that's kind of been our story this year of different guys stepping up. And I've talked about our bench and how hard those kids work, and obviously it paid off last night.
It's one thing to say that you're coming off of a nice week or a nice couple of games. You guys stumbled a little bit out of the gates, and that can happen, especially with the football presence over at your school. We've talked about it plenty of times, Mike, but you guys are really pretty much having a decent month right now if you go back to when you got this thing going after the first two out of the gate.
Yeah, kids are buying in. It was hard to kind of get everyone on the same page, but we're past that now. I told you after that Berea game, we felt really good. And honestly, if we played Amherst early, I think we would have lost it at the end. And then if we played Berea now and it was tight at the end, I think we would have won it. So if we look back at, the mistakes we made at Berea, we were up the whole game, about 6-8 the whole game. And at the end, we kind of made some decisions that cost us the game. Obviously they are great at doing what they do at Berea, but I think us experiencing that, watching film and seeing how to execute, we obviously practice against what Pat was going to do at the end of the game, and our kids, learned from it, gained a lot of experience, a couple games ago, and I think that's what got it done last night.
Coach, the game you played against Amherst yesterday can be so difficult because you guys got off to a good start. I think you led pretty much the whole first half, but it was really a game of runs, and that can be so tricky because when you get into the other team going on a run and kind of getting their flow going, it can be so difficult to try to figure out a way to stop them without taking your players out of your normal game plan. That's kind of what happened. You get to that third quarter and Amherst goes on, I think, a 16-5 run to pull that game closed. And things can go one of two ways from there. You can start pressing and not play your normal style of basketball, or you can do what your Avon Eagles team did, which is flipped it around and went on your own run. And I think you finished the game on a 20-5 run to get the win that you guys got. So just talk about coaching in a game like that, where it's just run after run after run.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm a lot better at it I used to be. Just gaining that experience and trusting your team. We've really talked about battling adversity, and it's going to happen in every game. Basketball, like you said, is a game of run. So it's going to happen. We talked about halftime. We said they're going to go on a run. How are we going to respond to it? We have some kind of rules when I call timeouts, what the score is, and talk to the guys. And honestly, it was our defense end. We weren't trusting in what we do defense. We kind of ruined that scouting report for about 6 minutes. They did what they normally do. And then after the timeout, we talked about going back into our fundamentals defensively, and our defense did lead our offense. We started getting stops, and honestly, we started rebounding the basketball. Giving up offensive rebounds is a big thing in basketball. So Brooks Good got about, I don't know how many got in the fourth quarter, but I know he got a lot. To kind of get it out and then push it. Small court like that, you can make one pass and, be at the other 3-point line. We practice that a lot. So it's just the kids staying confident in what they do. It's hard. Like I said, that's what happened at Berea early in the year. We kind of freaked out and we didn't have that experience. So really, we had some really good possessions where we didn't freak out. We relaxed. We were calm. We were patient. We ended up getting really good looks.
Mike, your size and length clearly gives people some problems with matchups. They're aware of it. You're aware of it. But, you're going to run into times where maybe that's not enough. You talked about a guy like Brooks Good who can do a lot of different things for you. And, how many, like just maybe other guys on your team that don't have to rely on a certain skill set that they can pivot to something else? Is that something you guys work on, or is that something those kids just know that, the light has to go off and they've got to come into a different thing that they can execute?
Yeah, I mean, that's being a well-rounded basketball player. We kind of scout and report ourselves a lot. And honestly, we played some different guys in the first half to see who's playing well. That's a big thing, like what Preston Johnson did last night. He comes out, he hit 2 big threes right in front of our bench, and that really sealed the game for us. Ended up with 18 points, and and that goes back to, I think these guys didn't have much varsity experience, and them trusting their roles. I know Larry just talked about Jeff at Keystone and those kids playing their roles. I think our kids have accepted it. We kind of changed our attitude this year, as in you have to accept it because there's no other way to do it. So I think them accepting that is huge, and then the other kids can kind of step up. And in each game, it's different. Like at Brookside, Shane Carty comes in, hits 2 big threes to get us going in the second quarter. So it's those kind of guys being ready and believing themselves and trusting what they do.
Now, Coach, having said all that, you put all this work into preparing and putting your team in the right positions and counting on your team to execute in those right positions. But when you look at the way that second half went, obviously Amherst went on the run, but in the end, your Avon Eagles shot the ball at about 70% in that second half. So there's got to be a part of that where you just sit back and go, oh, well, if we could just do this all the time, this is great.
Yeah. We're big on points in the paint. We chart that a lot. Our points in the paint are off the chart this year. Every time we've reached our goal, we've won the game. So I think it starts inside out. I mean, Brooks is always in the open spot, and then we, put guys in the right spots in the corner. We made a little adjustment. Coach Wallish is amazing offensively. And he had some really good ideas of putting some shooters in the corner and it stretched them out, because what Amherst does, it's hard to guard those corners. And obviously that showed with Preston stepping up, knocking, 2 big threes down. And then we had a lot of layups, and I think it was layups and threes. And honestly, that's what everyone practices nowadays in basketball. So.
Yeah, it seems like that more and more, that those are the emphasis points that you get to. Mike, want to thank you again for joining us. Congratulations. You're doing really well right now, and certainly the conference is right in front of you. So we're going to talk a lot about that as the season goes along. It's great to catch up with you again. It was, miraculous that you were able to set aside the time and we were able to figure that out in terms of getting you on for 10:20 this morning. I really appreciate it.
Honestly, it is tough. We have 30 third and fourth graders in the gym right now. We do our early morning skills with those guys. So luckily I got great assistant coaches that can give me the time to, do the head coaching job. It's tough.
Well, we'll let you get to it, and best of luck, continued success over there at Avon, and here's hoping we catch up with you on a Saturday real soon. Actually, I think we're going to catch up with you this week, so we'll have more conversations in store in terms of Avon basketball for 2026.
Yeah, we got a game tonight at Lakewood, and then we got 2 big ones at home next week. We haven't been home in 5 games, so we're missing our home court. So.
Well, looking forward to visiting you next week. So take care, and good luck tonight. Yeah, I forgot about that one, that you guys are back in action tonight. So best of luck over at Lakewood.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Coach.
You take care, Coach. Mike Fitch with the Avon Eagles.
30 to 40. I got 1 third grader. I can hardly handle it. Goodness.
It's tough to deal with. So we're going to take a quick break. On the other side of that, we were over at Wellington last night. Jim Baker, veteran head coach, first year with Wellington, and he got his first conference win last night in a victory over Oberlin. We'll get his thoughts on that on the other side of the break. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar, Michael Keefe on WEOL.com, and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, Cavs radio voice. Recently, we had some trees removed. So again, singing the praises of EcoTree Services. In a few hours, EcoTree had removed the unsightly trees, cleaned the debris, and opened the area for a new fence. I can't say enough good things about the people at EcoTree. I've used them several times, always thrilled with their work. If you have trees that require pruning or need to be removed, contact EcoTree, a local business that deserves your business. They've earned mine. Go to ecotreeservices.com.
At At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Welcome back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe, and joining us now is Jim Baker, victorious head coach of the Wellington Dukes, getting a 59-44 victory over Oberlin last night. We had it for you, Rocco Nucci and I, on WEOL.com and the CT YouTube channel. You can go back and watch that game if you're interested in getting some of the highlights. But Jim, you know, that was a home win last night, and you mentioned it in the post game with Rocco and I. You guys haven't had a whole lot of home cooking. I'll bet it felt good last night. You get your first conference win and a packed Duke's gymnasium, especially on that Wellington end.
Yeah, it was nice not getting on a bus for a change. I can tell you that much. But yeah, we had 6 road games in a row, and part of it is because we had the opportunity to play in a tournament, so our schedule got moved a little bit, but we played in a tournament before Christmas at Independence, so that was 2 road games that kind of got added in there. So, you know, we knew that going in, but yeah, it was certainly nice getting back home, without a doubt.
And you get back home and you take it to Oberlin, a pretty athletic and talented Oberlin team who had you guys on the ropes in that first quarter, and then you guys really rebounded and played well after that. It was a well-rounded effort. You played 7 or 8 guys, Jim. Not everybody scored right off the bat, but as that game went on, you started to see this guy scored, this guy scored. Everybody contributed in their own way, and it really was a team victory last night.
No, you're absolutely right. And that's how we have to play to be successful is we've got to get contributions from everyone. And we're starting to develop a little bit of depth. I think at times our guys, especially earlier in the year, we were wearing them out. We almost didn't trust, enough to take them out of the game. And as a result, they'd get tired and they'd start making mistakes late. And, we end up losing games close. So we kind of talked as a staff that, hey, we got to get guys in quicker. We got to give our guys a little bit more breaks. And I thought they did a real nice job with that in the second half because you're right. I mean, Oberlin, they've been playing very, very well. Carmelo Williams is as good as it gets in this league. And, even though he was our focus, we couldn't stop him half the time anyway. He's like a man out there. But I thought our kids really – they did battle, and it was good to see him put one away.
Yeah, Coach, and that you kind of alluded to my question, which was that's an Oberlin team that had just been finding ways to win. They came in on a winning streak. Last week, they erased a large deficit to Black River to come back and get a victory in that game. But it's an Oberlin team that came in playing well. So just, what was the focus? What did you see out of them that you thought, was making them play so well that you could kind of attack as far as going into yesterday's game?
Well, it's nice when you have a go-to like that, and that Carmelo is go-to. But Freeman's a real nice point guard. Smith can shoot it. I mean, they got a lot of weapons, and Coach Russell, he's been around a long time, and his teams they get better. They get better as the year goes on. So we were very concerned. We were going to try to limit Carmelo as much as we could, and didn't really work. I mean, he scored half their points, but that's more a testament to him because I thought our kids played pretty good defense. There was just times that he just kind of took over on us, but we wanted to make him work. We knew he was going to get his points. Hey, we understand that, but let's make him work as hard as he can to get those points. Maybe we can wear him out a little bit. And then we needed to get some easy baskets, and I thought our kids did a pretty good job of that. We didn't want to just slug it out, 5-on-5 and half court because they're pretty athletic. So we had to try to beat them down the floor, and I thought a few times we were able to do that.
I would agree with you, Jim. And one of the things that I thought, as you mentioned, like Carmelo was going to get his, you guys did a good job of taking the perimeter away from them globally. Everything had to come inside. I think they probably shot close to 3 for 20 from distance. So a team that wants to fire it up, you took that away from them, and it wasn't by accident.
No, it was a focal point that, when you have a shooter, what you're trying to get your kids to understand is that guy's comfortable catching and shooting. So let's make him do something maybe he's not comfortable with. And in this day and age, a lot of kids, they don't shoot pull-up jumpers. They either will catch and shoot or they're going to probably get rid of the basketball. So our focus was on trying to get them to put the ball on the floor and not let them stand on the perimeter and shoot it. And then obviously try to keep it away from Carmelo as much as possible. And, we gave up 44 points, so I'm kind of pleased. We can always be a little better than that, but we'll take it.
Listen, Coach, it was an interesting night in the league last night. You get your first league win. Clearview gets their first league win. We had the big matchup, Brookside and Keystone. But I think last night was a good example that shows you that this league is outrageously competitive, and any given night, any outcome can happen. So just talk about what getting that first league win means for your boys, the Dukes, there going into the remainder of your season.
Yeah, well, it's like I told Jared and Rocco last night. If you would walk in and watch our kids practice, you would have a hard time believing that we had one win before last night, because these kids have been just great for me. They go hard. They do everything we ask them to do. They want to get better. We just simply have had droughts during games previously where we just couldn't put the ball in the basket. And we were playing pretty good defense, but when you can't score, it just makes it so much harder. And getting that win last night, now it's so much easier to coach your kids after a win, because we did a ton of things wrong last night. We were like allergic to trying to put a body on somebody to rebound. I don't know what that was all about. And not getting your hands up on the free throw line to grab a rebound, and not closing out with your hand. And we'll show it to them. We'll show them on the film. And so it's like I say, they can enjoy it today, but we'll be able to start coaching them again tomorrow evening. And they're going to probably pay even more attention, because now they got that win. Now they're hungry. Hey, let's get another one. But we got to understand, we got to be better than what we were last night, or that win streak is going to be short-lived.
And before we got off the air last night, Rocco and I made that point. We're like, they're going to get to work on some things. It won't be today, but tomorrow, that is, meaning Saturday. But they're like, they're going to get back to work. Before we let you go, and not to bring up anything emotional, Jim, but not everybody knows. Maybe they do now. You're at home now, I think, and when you see that kind of a matchup at Wellington and the way that you were embraced afterwards by the fans, it just came out there on the floor. That felt like kind of the Wellington that I remember when I came up here, started 20 years ago. The same kind of feeling in that gymnasium, and you're a part of that. And your wife, who we've known and bothered on the phone on Saturday mornings for a lot of years, in terms of trying to track you down when the show was in that format. It's just, I think it's a special environment over there. When that thing's going, it's a big deal. And, I'm just happy for you to be part of it.
No, I really appreciate that. And that's been our focus. I'm from here. My wife's from here. Wellington's kind of been, maybe down a little bit in some areas. And that's one of the things we stress with the kids is, we're maroon and white, and we're this is our home. This is what you battle for. And I think our crowd support this year has been outstanding. And that's a testament to the community, because we haven't had a lot of success, but they've been there. They've been following us wherever we've been. We had more people than Independence did on that Saturday night that we played up there. There was more Wellington people there for the Independence home game. And that's what we're stressing to our kids. We've got to get that culture back. At one time, this sports ruled this community, and we just want to get that pride back in this community as best we can. And, I'm having fun. I'm an old man. I probably should be taking a nap, but I am having fun. And like I said, that the kids have been great, and hopefully we can keep it going.
You were jumping up and down last night, Jim, and it wasn't always exciting jumping up. Some of it was a little bit of anger, but I think the kids feed off of that. I think it fired up too.
Well, on those leaps, Jared, you could probably get maybe an index card under those leaps. So you're being kind with the jump aspect of that there. But no, I still like what I'm doing. And and the kids are helping me, and my coaching staff has been great. And they're all Wellington people as well. So we're all kind of on the same page with that, and we're trying to get it turned around here.
Well, all the luck in the world to you as you make that transition, and certainly a great atmosphere last night. Glad that we were a part of it, and you pick up that first conference win last night in front of the home fans.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming out. It was great talking to you.
Our pleasure. Good to see you and good to catch up with you this morning, Jim. Take care and best of luck in 2026.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks. And we're going to transition right now to Elyria head coach Brett Larrick, who's been waiting patiently on deck, and see about his game last night as taking on a crosstown rival of sorts in Midview. And Brett, thanks for joining us this morning. That game closer maybe than some would have thought at the half. You guys pulled away in that second half of play over there, and just walk us through kind of that matchup against a familiar Middy's opponent.
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. No, I mean, it's we told our guys, it's as much as you want to win a game by 30 in the first quarter, that's not how the game works. You've got to play the full 32 minutes. You've got to go through, some peaks and valleys, ups and downs. Midview does a nice job in running their zone, trying to slow the tempo down. And for the most part, we thought we did a good job. We wanted to get the pace at our even faster than what we normally play, and we tried to almost force us into having turnovers. We played too fast where we had more turnovers than we wanted. I thought the first quarter we actually did some good things against the zone, just missed a few shots, and that kind of happens when you press. And we're supposed to. It doesn't. The game doesn't work like that. You got to play the game. You got to defend. You got to make shots. You got to do what you're supposed to. And for the course of the game, I thought for the most part we did that, and then we went on a big run the third quarter that kind of really pushed it away. But no, I was proud of our guys for the week. 2 good wins after a bounce back after our game over break, which we needed.
Brett, is that maybe a testament to a guy like Jim Brabenick, who knows you guys really well and says, if you give me a half, I can prepare for these guys. I might not be able to outgun them, but I can come up with something that can slow them down a little bit, make them feel uncomfortable and have to adjust to us?
Yeah, Brabs does such a good job with what they do and trying to control the pace. He started 2 freshmen last night. They're playing some young guys. It's tough with the pressure we throw at them. And, we threw 9-10 bodies the first half at them, and we just wanted to keep going. We knew we were going to give up some layups and stuff, but, he keeps it at their pace. If you let them walk it up, you let them play that zone, it's going to be like we're stuck in mud, and that's what we didn't want. So we took some quicker than normal shots. We had some turnovers that 19 is probably one of the most we've had on the year, which is funny to say against the zone, but we kind of caused it because we were like, just go, go, go. But yeah, he does a really nice job with what he does, and we wanted to take him out of that pace.
Well, that was such a big part of the game last night in the go, go, go. But, it can create some rushing on the part of your team, and that causes some turnovers, and that happens. But I think you guys showed a killer mentality in that game especially in the second half. Anytime Midview either made a mistake and turned the ball over to you or missed a look and you guys grabbed a rebound, they had no time. They had no time to adjust. They had no time to get going. And on the other end of things, your guys have to execute. And yeah, there were some missed shots or turnovers or whatever. But I think you guys did a phenomenal job of just showing a bit of that killer mentality of saying, hey, you make a mistake against us, we're going to make you pay for it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what our mentality going in and what our focus was and what we talked about. They're going to score, but if they score whatever, just get it out as fast as you can and beat them back down the court. And, that third quarter, I thought we did a really nice job getting on a stretch where against the zone, we had some nice inside out, some high-low action. We hit 3 or 4 threes in a row, but they were all off good looks, off executing what we wanted. But then we were able to get in our press, and our guys were flying around, deflections, turnovers, and you go on that 8-0, 10-0 run, that kind of extended it. So, yeah, I was proud of our guys last night.
And Brett, you mentioned getting back on track after break. Obviously this was not your first game back, but over break you get in that shot clock classic, and you give up 100 points to over 100 points to a Massillon team that I guess you told us, you warned us they were really talented. Is that something now that you're 10 days removed from that, where you think to yourself, okay, what do we take away from that? That you never want to give up 100. It happened. We can't change that. What do we make sure that never happens again?
Well, after that, well, yes. So going into that game, we knew they were really good. I tried to tell people.
You warned us.
They were 2 in the state last year. They had me concerned for sure. They have a lot of guys that can handle, pass it, and against our pressure, they did a nice job. But again, we didn't think we showed our best. We didn't do things we're supposed to. How we played, how hard we played. We scored 83, which most people would be happy with, but
sure.
We went and scored, but we weren't, putting any, constraints on them. We weren't taking away anything they wanted to do. We had no pushback to their breaks, and that was a little disappointing. So we had some good practices over breaks, some competitive practices where we worked defensively. And, Amherst the other night, I thought we did a really nice job, taking away some of their guys that we wanted and not giving up easy baskets, not gambling. And when you press and want to play tempo, it's that fine line where we want to get the tempo up, but we don't want to give up layups and easy shots and take ourselves out of plays. And we just got to it's multiple efforts. And that's what we write on the board, multiple efforts. You miss it, now you got to sprint and tip. And I thought we did a much better job of that in the practices leading up to Tuesday and then this week also.
Coach, not a lot of time to rest and relax in the Southwest Conference. You guys have been playing well, but turn around on Tuesday, and you're going to be looking square in the face of a Berea Mid-Park team that's been playing pretty darn good basketball lately,
Beat Falls,
especially in the conference. Yeah, they're coming off of a 2-overtime victory over Olmsted Falls. So just talk about, how you get your guys to come around after a big victory over Midview, how you get them to refocused over the weekend and ready to go in that game against Berea Mid-Park.
Yeah, well, we've already practiced this morning, so we had them back at it in the gym, and we put last night's game behind us, and we already started on Tuesday. But yeah, Berea's getting healthy. They just got one of their guards back. Hopefully, we'll be full strength. Hopefully next week. This time of year, everybody's a little banged up, sore, and we got some guys. But we just told them, it's important you take care of your bodies, knees, ankles, everything that's sore, because this is a big week, and we started our focus now. We started our prep. We'll start our film stuff. But yeah, Berea's playing well, and then you got Avon at Avon. So, not an easy week for us. It'll be a tough one, and hopefully all of our guys are locked in and we're ready to go.
Yeah, we'll have that one over at Avon later on this week on Friday. So, you mentioned that. Overall, Brett, it's a big month, and I know that each game you're going to take it game by game. But, we talk about your conference, and I know we've got you against Avon, and then we've got you against Falls later this month too. So it's just like it's unrelenting, I guess is the word I would use to describe it. And, at the end of the day, you've got high school kids that are worried about other things too, between, friendships, relationships, class, everything like that. And you've got intermixed basketball. You're a manager of, I guess, egos and relationships at that point more than just basketball.
Yeah, we got to remember they're kids. They're still high school students, and they go through a lot with classes and, social media and all the different aspects they have to deal with. And, we just talked about, this is a tough month. We're Tuesday, Friday, and then Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. So we've got a tough month because we're in another showcase game out at Margaretta against Toledo St. Francis. That's really good. So it's a tough month that you got to battle through, and everybody does. Every night in this league is a battle. It's a grind. The teams know each other. The coaches know each other. But that's why we tried to get some off-the-court stuff too. Like we'll go to a college game or two here coming up. We've got team dinners. And so as much as you want to grind, you still got to get them away and, take their mind off of it, so keep them fresh, ready to play.
Well, Brett, thanks for joining us this morning. Good luck against Berea Mid-Park on Tuesday, and we'll get reacquainted with you throughout this month. So we're looking forward to some great basketball.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Always look forward to seeing you.
Great time.
Thanks, Coach.
Good to catch up with you. Brett Larrick, Victoria's head coach of the Elyria Pioneers. And, again, big one coming up Tuesday, and big week, big month for him. So we're going to take a quick break. we got one more interview to get to, and it's Kyle Dack with Black River, and we're going to catch up with him in just a moment on the other side of this break. Really looking forward to this conversation. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's streaming live on WEOL.com and the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
Welcome back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Michael Keefe, and joining us now on the program is Kyle Dack with the Black River Pirates. And normally, Coach, when we get together with somebody from Black River, it is the aforementioned Al Young or Kyle Clark in terms of the football aspect. You're changing the narrative over there at Black River in terms of, there's a lot of things to like about hoops. You guys are in every game. You're coming off of win over a good Columbia team last night, 60-44. Oberlin took you to the wire earlier this week, but it's not the same story over at Black River in terms of hoops right now. And just walk us through how that's been.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, thanks for having me on here. But as far as Black River, I was new to Black River, so I always hear these stories and I keep hearing things about like the past or this or one time that. So for me, it was just getting to know everybody. And when I met all the kids and when I met Clark, I met him first, probably the football coach, and he was telling me about the kids, and everything he said was right. They're ready to win, they're ready to play, they want to play hard, they just need a little more direction, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're giving them the right direction, and they're the ones taking on the challenge. So it makes it a lot easier for me.
Now you got to deal with Rob Clerico a little bit down there, so we understand that can be a challenge.
Rough guy.
Yeah. I mean, you can't have good administration everywhere. You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding.
So, Kyle, let's talk about this week because I think on one hand, a tough start earlier in the week. You guys had a good lead in your game against Oberlin, and things got away from you in that game. They came back and got you with a comeback victory earlier in the week. But what a bounce back! And again, Jared alluded to it. There's been some things going on there at Black River where maybe basketball hasn't been at a super high level, but it kind of showed in your game last night. That's a Columbia team. Black River doesn't often beat Columbia in basketball. It's the first time in almost 15 years, actually. But you bounce back from a very difficult loss. I'm sure a game that you still to this day think you should have won on Tuesday. And your boys bounce back and get that win over Columbia, a team that we saw Tuesday night. And not just that, but you get it in pretty convincing fashion. Just talk about the response from the kids after that loss.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was pretty bummed out Tuesday. Obviously, we've kind of created this season. We've had this idea that we're just going to win every game. And I heard someone talk about it earlier on your show that, we want to make sure that they're still realistic and you still have to work. So we let them have the night of being down, but getting right back after it on Wednesday. We let them know, like, hey, we got a lot of season left. Got everybody to practice hard, and we had a really, really good practice Wednesday and Thursday. So that's kind of what helped us go into Friday.
Coach, you mentioned Kyle Clark, the football coach over there at Black River, and the success that he's had not only as an athlete but as a coach. It seems that he's a little bit more open to the thought that, hey, at Black River, our athletes are our athletes. I'm going to have to share with you, and you're going to have to share with me. And maybe in years past that wasn't the case. It was, hey, I'm going to protect this guy, or I ran him to death on the football field, and he wasn't healthy enough to get on the basketball floor, and it kind of changed the direction of way things could go. It seems that there's a pretty good alignment at Black River now, and you can look forward to working relationships like that.
Yeah, I mean, so I believe in multi-sport athletes.
Right.
For example, Dom Bell, our freshman, he's the quarterback, really, really good quarterback, and it shows on the basketball court. I mean, he's our best pass. It's unbelievable how he passes the basketball, and it just correlates with how he plays football. So I'm a big believer in that stuff, footwork, all that kind of stuff. Rebounding, usually football guys are really good rebounders. So So, and I think it's the same both ways. So when a basketball player gets back to football, like, it's just, I think things that we do are going to help them on the football field as well. And same with baseball. I mean, they play every sport there. So,
Coach, I want to talk about just your experience leading in. You come from being the head coach, I think 5 seasons at Springfield,
Yep.
which is another program that's just got it pretty difficult down there. It's been a tough go at Springfield, and you were there for 5 years trying to turn that program around. Now you come into Black River, where it's been a tough go, and you're trying to turn a program around. So maybe give us a little bit about your experience at Springfield over 5 years that you think helps kind of lead you into this new opportunity at Black River, and are you going to become that guy that you're the whisperer of the program, turning the programs around? Is that what's going to happen here?
No, I mean, so to touch on the Springfield thing, really good kids over there. We had some good success in our own right with some seasons. But what helped me with my Springfield experience was I was an assistant and a JV coach under some really, really successful coaches before that. And when I became a varsity coach, I thought I knew everything. And I was told you don't know everything. And I was like, sure, whatever. And then after coaching at Springfield a couple years, you're like, wait, I don't know everything. So really those 5 years, if I could go back and do things differently, I would at Springfield a little bit. But, you come into your next opportunity, what you learn those 5 years, and just having that open mind of like, okay, I can learn every year. And I do. I learn something every year. I take something from every season, whether it's a good season, bad season. So that's just kind of how we apply things.
Michael and I saw that Columbia team on Tuesday, and they really lit up a pretty gritty Clearview team, especially in that second half of that game. And Columbia had it going. They could go inside, outside. They were pretty physical. For you guys to come away with a double-digit win like that, a lot of things had to go the right direction. Just maybe talk about some of those things that you worked on, maybe some things that you saw out of guys that you didn't know they had last night.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Columbia's very well coached team, right. and I heard Baddox talk about it earlier too, and as well as Baker, that our league's competitive. Everybody's well coached. Everybody scouts. Nothing in our league is a gimme, right? No game's a gimme, and I think that was proven last night. So for us, it was just play the way we want to play, do what we're supposed to, and if they beat us at us doing what we're supposed to at a high level, then we can live with that. And they scouted us really well, and they did a lot of really well things. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well last night. So I mean, if they make a couple more shots, maybe they're in the game in the third and fourth quarter, and it might go a different way. But we made some shots, and we were able to hold the ball and not turn it over late. So,
well, and you talked about the conference, Coach, and you don't have a lot of time to enjoy a good victory because you got to turn around, and it's a rematch of your very first game. But this time you're going to be on the road just right down the street in LaGrange. You're going to take on the Keystone Wildcats. They're coming off of a tough loss against Brookside, but just, talk about that matchup. You haven't seen them since your first game, and how much you think your team has grown since then.
Yeah, I mean, so when we play, Keystone's awesome, obviously. So is Brookside. So that's a really good game, and I really appreciate Brookside beating them. So they're really mad coming in on Tuesday. But
right.
Yeah, that's great. No,
Larry Jeff, solid.
We play a lot of sophomores and freshmen, or we play one freshman and 4 sophomores, and our younger kids are our primary ball handlers. So that first Keystone game was, we want to win every game, but at least we can learn from it, going in there and just getting beat up. And I mean, I think we had 11 turnovers in the first quarter, and they're 1-2-2 traps. So, I mean, being able to go back and look at that now, which is what we've been doing for what we did today, it's really going to help us. I think obviously we got to do so many things right to beat them. You got to defend, you got to score. We pride ourselves in the defensive end. I think in 11 games, we've held 8 opponents under 50. You're not holding Keystone under 50. So, you got to score. So we want to contain them as much as we can, but we got to score with them a little bit. So that's kind of what we're preaching right now.
Kyle, thanks for catching up with us today. Best of luck in that matchup against Keystone. You said Jeff's going to have them ready. They're going to give you all you want. But, one way or another, I think you come out a better team for that eventually as far as the way the league is going to unfold for you in the 2026 portion of the schedule. Hey, our first time connecting with you was great. Looking forward to doing this again sometime, and that means that things are going well over at Black River.
Yep, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Oh, it's our pleasure. Coach. And that's Kyle Dack with the Black River Pirates program. And, Michael, that 2 hours really flew. We got a lot of good things in.
2 hours? I've been here for 15 minutes. What are you talking about?
Quality conversation. You and I are going to get reacquainted real fast in about another half hour when we make our way over to Ridgeville for girls basketball as the Lady Rangers host the Shore Gals of Avon Lake. That'll be coming up at about 12:30 this afternoon for your super matinee matchup on WEOL.com and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. That's going to do it for the Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, Nick Abraham style. I want to thank our sponsors, Nick Abraham, Elyria Ford, Nick Abraham Buick GMC, located at Route 57 in Broad Street in Elyria. LMRE, your local energy partner. It is Lorain County Community College, high-quality education for good jobs. Ron Yachts is going to kill me when we get done with this. And the folks over at Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company. For Michael Keefe, I am Jared Kozar. All the coaches that stopped by, we want to thank them. And most of all, we want to thank you, the viewers and listeners. And the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show will be back next Saturday. Again, Michael Keefe and I will be over at Ridgeville in just a few minutes to bring you girls basketball action this Saturday afternoon.